I hate being late. Especially when it's not my fault. Why does everything have to happen on Saturday? Don't they know? This is the... Wait, hold up. I was about to say, this is the day of the Lord. No, that's Sunday. Still pisses me off, okay? Still pisses me off. God, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. I'm all over the place. Oh, what a disaster. I hate this. I hate this! The burning passion. I hate this. But there are more things that I hate. So I guess we can go directly... Jeez, I hate when it's some music, right? Are we doing homework? I don't think so. I guess it works. Oh, that might be a little too loud. There we go. Oh man, there are many things in this world that you can hate. So let's try to get quickly to that, shall we? I mean preambles today. I'm not up to it. So we've seen this past couple of weeks a lot, and when you say a lot, I mean a lot. Many attempts to censor people. But don't worry, guys, it all will be fine, okay? Look at this. It's beautiful. Germany's top court limits use of spy software to serious crimes. Ah, it's fine then, right? It's fine. If you think this is fine, I have bad news for you. Germany's top court ruled on Thursday that law enforcement officials can use secretly installed spy software to monitor phones and computers only in cases that involve serious crimes. What is a serious crime for Germany? I have no idea. Maybe being spies on the internet might be more than enough for them. Is this the UK? German digital rights group Digital Courage had complained that a 2017 reform allowing police to monitor encrypted chats or messaging services like WhatsApp in certain circumstances. Singular, I think that should be a plural, right? With spy software could also affect people who were not suspects. You think that's gonna happen? Yes, that happens every single time. Come on. In 2017 reform to the Criminal Procedure Code left the areas where surveillance would be used to open, said the court. According to the court, such surveillance is considered serious interference, and thus can only be used for looking into special heinous crimes. But they were just taking a look, in case they found the crimes, so it's probably okay, right? God, I hate the German government. As a result, police cannot monitor telecommunications when investigating crimes that carry a maximum sentence of 3 years, as they are not serious enough. Well, I don't know, I've seen the UK, it's not looking good anyway. Investigators' authority to secretly search suspects' computers and smartphones is partially incompatible with Germany's basic law, said the court, but these provisions will remain in effect until new regulations are enacted, which is just a matter of BS. That goes against those laws. I truly believe that. That's not the problem. That's never the problem. The main problem, as usual, is that it doesn't matter because it's just German law. And as we all know, at least in the EU, what's paramount is European law, which doesn't make any sense because they can just supersede the Constitution. I don't think that's good. What do I know? Not enough, I guess. What a disaster. Jeez, what a disaster. Oh, I said to speak Germany. Speaking of Germany, what about Italy? Huh? Digital wall rising over Italy's internet. That's not good. A tool built to stop soccer streams now has the keys to Italy's entire digital gate. Are you ready for some football? You better be, you can't see anything else. All because of fucking sports ball. Are you kidding me? God, what the hell? Most people that use the internet don't care about sports ball. Get the hell out of here. That's crazy. And you're tired of censorship or surveillance? Subscribe to this side? No, subscribe to me. Screw you, well, you can subscribe to these guys too. I guess they're fine. Italy has turned its experiment piracy shield program into a permanent fixture of online enforcement, arming it with expanded authority that now extends far beyond sports streams. It was originally built to target. Oh wow, imagine that. What a shocker! Does this happen every single time? Yes. The new rules approved by the Communications Regulatory Authority, AGCOM, and effective from August 1st, allow the platform to cut off access to movies, TV shows, basic performances, and other live events. I bet this also affects streaming platforms such as YouTube and Twitch. Automated takedowns can now occur in as little as 30 minutes as the report is filed. It's gonna be much worse than this, of course. What began as a normally framed anti-sports piracy tool to a multi-sector blockade system shaped by entertainment industry lobbying. Fucking government, dude. Every single day, I'm reminded, when we left the caves, everything went to shit. It's insanity. The Audiovisual Federation, FPAV, are they fapping? That's too spicy, that's not allowed. During the December 2024 meeting, pressed for the inclusion of cinematic premieres and episodic television, warning of heavy financial losses from piracy. But it is known they never lose any money. What are you talking about? People that pirate cinematic premieres and episodic television, we're never going to pay for those. So yeah, oh, financial losses. I don't know about that one. I can respond to the granting Person Shield the ability to target nearly any type of copyrighted media in real time. Well, that sounds like Big Italy, not the new one, but the old Italy. Technically, the platform works by disrupting the domain name system's ability to translate web addresses into IP numbers and by cutting off access to the IP addresses themselves. I think we need to try and fight this as best as we can. Not only with the issue stuff. Is it working? It's kind of laggy on my side. I hope it's fine. If it's not, well, that wouldn't surprise me. Blame the Italian government. Oh, they don't like me. I ask too many questions. I might be that guy. I might be that guy. But yeah, we might need to fight this with all of our might, trying to whistle out of all of this. I don't know how much you can actually whistle out of IP stuff. I'm not quite sure. Apparently they're also blocking VPNs and all that, so I have no clue. I've seen a couple of, let's say, guides to try to avoid some of these, also using DNS. And that's way outside my expertise. I'm not into cybersecurity or connectivity. Don't you guys have phones? Yeah, that's me. The month approach has already caused significant disruptions to local services. Oh wow, imagine my shock. In past incidents, portions of Cloudflare's network became inaccessible. Italian users briefly lost access to YouTube and Google Drive. Boy, did they call it or what? These cases have strengthened warnings from the critics who showed how Privacy Shield has few safeguards against overblocking. They don't care about overblocking. I do remember back in the day, well, it's better to have criminals free instead of jailing a single innocent man. Nowadays, just jail all of them. You're bound to get all of the criminals anyway. What about individuals? What about them? Huh? Do you think they have any rights? Those plebeians? Disgusting. You might think I'm joking. You might think this might be hyperbolic. It's not. It's not. I've been thinking about this since the beginning. Yeah, before I started streaming. This rule changes also bring new players into the enforcement net. Providers of VPN services, public DNS tools, and search engines cannot be held responsible for enabling access to flagged content, even if their involvement is indirect, which doesn't make any sense to me. What do I know, I guess? Their aim is to make it harder for internet users to bypass restrictions by using privacy tools or alternative connection methods. Yeah, that stopped pirate radius. Sure think this will work. I bet there's always a way to fuck with this a little bit. I don't know of any, okay? Don't ask Italian government. They will tell you the Italians are based. Are you sure? I don't know. At the same time, lawmakers from Fratelli d'Italia and Liga, I think these guys are from the north, right? I do know a little bit about Italian politics. Blame 2020. Are pushing legislation that will triple fines for individuals caught viewing or downloading pirated content, with penalties that could reach 16,000 euros. That's 18.5k USD. This breaks turning casual users into criminals overnight. Oh wow, what a shocker. Are you surprised? Absolutely not. European regulators will take notice. In June 2025, the European Commission sent a formal letter to Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani, questioning whether the system aligns with the Digital Services Act. You see why I call this guy as the Fourth Reich? It is more than justified. This is insane. But I'm innocent. Are you sure about that? The law says otherwise. Law doesn't care about reality. Get fucked. God damn it, I hate the EU. I hate everything. I hate so many things. Well, it literally says it's updated copyright rules, first written in 2013 and recently reshaped through the Omnibus Decree. Oh, golly. It's not just the USA. Much EU law. Oh my god. Ugh. Personal rules that key principles such as transparency, proportionality, and user protection might be violated. The DSA does not give national authorities an unrestricted right to impose blocking orders without a clear legal mandate from the EU. Holy shit, I've never seen such a sentence like this. Okay. Digital Services Act is a ruling from the EU, okay? We should know that by now, but it's just a reminder. The DSA does not give national authorities an unrestricted right to impose blocking orders without a clear legal mandate from the EU. Yeah, it doesn't, because it shouldn't. First of all, how is it possible that you could have European laws superseding national laws? That doesn't make any sense. Well, they do, because it's a fucking imposed ultra government. I'm gonna vomit. Jesus Christ, this is so disgusting. A clear legal mandate from the EU. Once again, who the fuck are you people to mandate over a country? And you know shit's fucked when they are the lesser of two evils here. What about the meteor? Well, that's for later. The Commission's concern is not limited to legal interpretation. Privacy Shield's ability to remove material from the internet within minutes is the possibility of an enforcement system that overrides free expression without adequate due process. No, that would never happen. Come on, guys, that would never happen. I'm just in Europe in the past, I don't know, 5 years, maybe more. Especially if you look at the UK. God fucking damn it. Never expected I would end up in jail for computer crimes, yet here I am. And that might be just because I was trying to do my job, imagine that. Not here streaming, by the way. May 21st, 2025, the Computer and Communications Industry Association, representing Apple, Google, and other major technology companies, I thought they were gonna say technological, my bad, filed a formal complaint accusing Italy of potentially breaching both the DSA and net neutrality protections. I also don't like Apple and Google, but I guess they're not wrong in this case. Pitching is further fueled by the fact that Privacy Shield was developed by SP Tech, which is controlled by Studio Legale Privati for Italy's Serie A football league. Can we outlaw football? Are you ready for some football? No, it's illegal now. Fuck you. I have never seen anything good come out from any kind of football league or event. That's insane. Ah, you cannot say that. That's how do they call it? Ah, shit, it has a name. I forgot. When they accuse you of something because you gather around suspicious people. Ah, fuck, it has a name, you know what I mean. If you don't try, it's all fucked. Stealing profits directly from the rights the system is designed to protect. There are concerns about the built-in conflict of interest that could undermine the impartiality of enforcement, you think? The thing is, even though this is clearly true, is it going to matter? I don't think so. Why? Because they have a lot of money and they're also kind of working for the government directly. Because the government also wants this to happen. So, yeah, it's a lose-lose situation. God fucking damn it. Oh, they're a bunch of fascists. Well, it's Italy. I think it makes sense. Going back to the roots. Do you think it was only Europe? Oh boy, I have bad news for you. What about Mexico? Well, I don't know. What about Mexico? Mexico makes biometric identifier mandatory for all citizens. Mandatory and biometric. Holy shit, this could be even worse. Oh my god. Truly wretched. Mexico has officially introduced a digital identification system. I'm trying to go fast because today I was really late. It might be a bad idea. I'm gonna stumble a lot. Please understand. Mexico has officially introduced a digital identification system by setting a law that turned the previously optional biometric-based citizen code into a mandatory document for all citizens. It's coming. It's coming for your ass, dude. Doesn't matter where you are. At least if you're in the first world, I suppose, parts of the second. Last month, legislators approved amendments to the law related to the 18-character personal identifier, known as Unique Population Registry Code. I guess this is the naming in Mexican. With the change formalized in Wednesday through decree. The mandatory corp will contain personal and biometric information, including a photograph and a QR code containing biometric fingerprint and iris data. The identifier is expected to be introduced gradually to all Mexicans by February 2026. QR code. This is gonna be really silly. Because I'm pretty sure you can break a bunch of machines thanks to creating special QR codes. And let's see what happens. I mean, it's Mexico, so I should all expect the worst. Not because they're crazy, but because they have the cartels. The government has also allowed the consolidation of the citizen codes into a single identity platform. They will be connected to other state databases and administrative records. According to the decree, the Ministry of the Interior and the Digital Transformation Agency, whoa, what a name, I don't like that, must create a unified identity platform within 90 days, while public and private institutions will be required to update their system to recognize the identifier. I don't like that. I don't like that. The country also plans to kickstart a national program to collect biometric data from children and adolescents within 120 days, according to News outlet Mexico Business. Holy shit, dude! Do you like Minority Report? No? Well, fuck you. You're gonna be living in it. Oh my god, this is probably the worst from Cyberpunk dystopias. Vertical enhancements! What? No, it's just surveillance. How? Fucking damn it. I blame you, George Orwell. It was not his fault, but holy shit. 1984 looks like a documentary nowadays. The first court was issued in 1996, allowing both citizens and residents to use it in tax filings, company records, schools, passport applications, and other government services. The biometric version of the code began rollout in the beginning of 2025. Okay, but having a physical makes sense, because it's... I might be being stupid here, I might be missing something. Right? Unique Population Registry Code. Isn't that pretty much like an ID? That makes sense. Having an ID? Makes sense. Having all sorts of information on a QR code? I don't know, I think that's dangerous. Well, what about security? What about security? It's for your own good. Wouldn't you like it? I don't want security, I want to be free. Yes, security is completely opposed to freedom. I want to return to Monkey. Privacy advocates, however, have viewed the introduction of the mandatory biometric ID with suspicion. Yeah, no shit. Especially Mexico. Well, it would be as bad if it was Canada, but it's still pretty bad. There's a concern that the group will lead to surveillance and data security issues. No, this will never happen. Have you seen the UK? Which is hilarious. I don't have it on tap, but I saw the tweets. Was it this week? I'm not sure. I think it was a video. I don't remember. It's been a couple of days, so it's completely forgotten at this point in time because I didn't need it. People are raising concerns that the UK might become a surveillance state. The fuck do you mean might become? They have billions of cameras throughout the country for decades. What are you talking about? God fucking damn it. The new law, for instance, does not require authorities to inform citizens when their data is viewed or accessed. Cool. Cool. Yay! That sounds good! This puts us in a massive surveillance ecosystem with no provisions to identify wrong use of data, data breaches, identity theft, rights of corruption. Same floors, director of the digital rights group, R3D told Context News, which is surprisingly not the site. Wait, I think there's a typo, right? It's not CUPR, it's CURP. It's Corp, not Cooper. Sheldon Cooper! Well, also allow Mexico to establish data sharing agreements with other countries, including a deportation deal with US law enforcement agencies. But you don't need biometric data for that, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's that easy as, oh, you don't have any kind of identification. You're here clearly illegally. Get out? I do believe... shit, I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't say this knowing the kind of people we have in the government. I'm gonna say it. Fuck around and find out. Might be the first one. Me. We should have exile back. You don't like them, exile them. You cannot do that, are you sure? I might be the first one. Fuck me. I don't have a single nationality. That might be a problem. Time to become an actual pirate. I'm not good with the sea either. Well. You know what they said? Have mercy, say death. Rights groups such as Article 19 believe that the ID will give intelligence services access to data without restrictions or transparency. International security agencies such as the National Intelligence Center and the National Guard are among the government bodies that will gain access to the biometric data. Why does the government have access to my biometric data? I don't know about Mexico, but isn't that usually a huge breach of piracy, borderline illegal? Because that's also borderline health stuff? I'm not quite sure about all of the biometric data they have. I have no clue. I do know. I hate these fucking bots. Piss off. I don't like them! So annoying. Always around me. Holy shit. That's annoying. The government says that the misuse of the sensitive data, including biometrics, is regulated by existing data privacy laws. This is a disaster waiting to happen. But if you misuse it, it's already unlawful. Why are you allowing them to misuse it in the first place? Because they shouldn't have access to that. So what? It's happening everywhere. They need to go, I don't know. I think people like Thailand nowadays. I'm not a big fan of those places, man. They're too tropical for me. Can't they just have a cave somewhere and live alone? No. Where can only be approved by a judge according to the constitution and the law. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. This is the Jeju woman, right? Hilarious. Since the beginning of July, the Unified Identity Platform will be able to connect to the National Registry of Missing and Unlocated Persons and the National Forensic Data Bank, allowing the country to combat the alarming trend of disappearances, according to the government. We all know why you have those kinds of disappearances. It's not because you can't find them, it's because they're getting killed. That's pretty obvious. I saw this, I didn't go through it, I not going to like it, but I think it's important to go through. From Proton, which they have been releasing a bunch of stuff about datum and that, so it might be pretty interesting. European sources digital backbone for decades. That's fucking hilarious. Today the choice has become a strategic liability. Now you think? It didn't really matter. Europe will be fucked anyway. New study shows that dependency runs, starting with email, the gateway to every company stack. Let's unpack it. Bang of 8. Our 74 of all publicly listed European companies run their email and therefore cloud, docs, AI workflows on Google or Microsoft. Apple's strategy decks, budgets, daily apps, and sensitive client data on servers governed by foreign laws. So you're fucked, because you're gonna be fucked by your country's government, the EU government, which shouldn't exist, and the American government. Whoa! Triple trial! It was way better back in Final Fantasy IX. When your company relies on US tech companies, you're not just a source in tech. You're exposing your organization to strategic risks that are out of your control. AI models trained on your company's data. Yeah, that makes sense. Cloud Act enabled surveillance. Oh, yeah, also makes sense. Let's have our data location. Critical sectors exposed to geopolitics. Imagine if you were Russia. Holy shit! That's pretty bad. Sovereign clouds, it's not sovereignty. Big tech companies know this is an issue, which is why they claim to offer sovereign clouds with servers under EU jurisdiction. If there is a server owned by a US company, US laws like the Cloud Act give the US government access to it, regardless of where the server is located. Yes, but the location actually doesn't matter in this case. Which countries rely most on US tech? France, 61% of companies. Utilities, 87%. Ooh. UK, 75% of the world. That makes sense. It's not good, but that makes sense. Spain, 65%. 5 sectors at 100%. That's not good. Portugal, 65%. 9 sectors at 100%. That's not good. Ireland, 11 sectors at 100%. Yeah, you're gonna be fucked really soon. These results should worry anyone who cares about Europe's economy, security, or democracy. Democracy in Europe! They might be new to this. Bottom line, Europe can control its future until it controls its data. Yeah, it's never gonna happen, really. If Europe wants digital sovereignty and control over its future, it must start by controlling its data and digital services. This applies to individuals, companies, and countries alike. And of course they're gonna block those services to them. It makes sense, it's never going to happen. Protecting Officer, a European privacy-first stack. Swiss HQ, European hosting, end-to-end encryption, zero-access architecture, open source, easy migration. But they don't want any of this. They don't care about their data, they only care about control. It's nothing new. It's still really disgusting. It is nothing new. So, no, I mean, I do believe it. The services are actually pretty good and pretty useful. That's not the problem. The problem is, why should they bother when they don't want, as an example here, end-to-end encryption? Wow, that's a problem. They want to undo all of this because they want to spy on you. How do we know? Because we read about it last week. I'm not picking shit up. I'm just reading what they're telling you. European hosting, they don't care. If they can just not have to worry about anything and sure, let's pay the USA or whatever, it's even better, and that's a huge problem for Europe. I was about the supporters of the Euro stack because one of the best ways to defend European values is to invest in European companies. I think they're new to this. I don't think these guys are as deep in the sauce as me, which is fucking hilarious because I'm just a little guy on the internet. Defend the European values. Beachwear. Beachwear. What fucking European values? They're having undermining European values for a long time. No, 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 no. What are you doing, woman? Do you really think you can be praying outside of your home? Even if you're doing so mentally, you're going to jail. Hundreds or thousands or even more Muslims blocking roads to pray? That's fine. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one, Chief. I may end up in jail. Well, who the fuck cares anymore? Let's have fun in jail, shall we? God damn it. I hope they group us by ideology and not by crime. I guess crime could be okay too. I don't even know anymore. They don't want European values. They want to be China. Unironically China. I mean, unironically China. Why? Because being China is really useful if you're the governing class. You want to do something? Well, you can do it. Because you're being in an authoritarian regime. If you live under the pretenses, not the values, but the pretenses of democracy, you cannot do that, even though they do. Which, strange segue, I didn't expect to have such a good segue for this. This is bananas, lol. Democracy. Simply repeat the vote until you get the right results. Denmark, 1992, Maastricht Treaty, 51.7%, made to vote again. Joining the Euro, 53.2%, accepted. Nice treaty, well, it has to be nice, isn't the name, right? 53.9%, made to vote again. Joining the Euro, 56.1%, accepted. EU Constitution, 54.9%, ignored. EU Constitution, 61.5%, ignored. Lisbon Treaty, 53.2%, made to vote again. Euro bailout, 61.3%, ignored. Democracy is a fucking joke. And these guys, they keep saying, but the democracy are the worst. Because these are the fucking guys that are trying to push for China. Which doesn't make any sense. Also, something I hate about this is, well, but you have to vote for this. Well, no. Right? No, it doesn't make any sense. How many times are you going to vote for something? Well, we need to keep voting until we get our desirable outcome. If they didn't get an actual Brexit when it happened, which, as far as I know, because I do remember reading about that when it was happening, you know I'm fucking old when you say this. It was not supposed to be actually like a binding contract that they were actually going to exit the EU. It was more like some sort of official poll. But if they didn't get Brexit, they would have kept trying. So, how many times you had to vote no? Well, until you vote yes. Fuck you! It's insane! I hate democracy! God, things to say before disaster, I suppose. It's really bad. It's really fucking annoying. If people keep saying no, why do you keep trying? But you have to vote. What do you mean vote? What do you mean you have to vote? People have voted tens of times already, and they keep saying no. Shut up! They don't want it. Peace off. And every single time, you try to whistle word, trying to convince people to say yes, making these questions real strange and whatnot. Trust me, I know. I've seen it. Do we need to come back to the fucking Roman Empire? In global empire? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. And if you want to play Europe, you're fucked. Congratulations. European citizens to pay global taxes. How the fuck is that legal? Well, I have no clue. France approved an amendment to tax its citizens on global income if they move to a region with tax 50% lower than France's. But why? The Netherlands proposed a new exit tax for citizens who leave the country to pay income, and presumably capital gains taxes for 5 years after leaving the country. Holy shit, dude. This reminds me of that Simpsons episode. I think they were trying to film the superhero movie in Springfield. Oh, well, we just have a tax for to leave the city. It's $1,000. It's literally the same. Back in my day, it was a joke. Nowadays, it's a little bit scary. Spain already taxes its citizens and global income by 4 extra years. If they move to country classified as a tax haven. I wonder what classifies as tax saving for Spain. Because I bet they're fucking you with taxes anyway. So maybe normal countries might seem like tax havens. And you're gonna get fucked anyway. Germany, Norway, and the UK will soon tax their citizens globally too. I've been warning you, European countries are bankrupt and will try to seize your assets. You think that's a democracy? No, welcome to China. You're here forever. Ah, been chilling. Chahonshu, that's the only thing I know about Chinese. It's not gonna be great. So at this point, you're fucked that you stay, you're fucked that you leave. The fuck are you supposed to do? Can you even renounce your citizenship? I have no idea. It's not something I know about. I guess you would need to use second citizenship, right? I think that makes sense. So, if you do, that might be good. If you don't, I think you're fucked. Yay, that's pretty cool. God fucking damn it. But wait, there's more. You thought it was really everything we had for control today? Absolutely not. Microsoft is the future of Windows. The computer will be able to see what we see, hear what we hear, and we can talk to it. This is literally see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. That's crazy. That's crazy, and I do mean not the Taoist values, but the Western version. Microsoft Executive Edition of Windows in 2030. Are you fucking with me? It's all about voice and AI. Well, you will own nothing and you will be happy. It's 2030 after all. It's not long. Thankfully. Ever wonder what Windows will be like at the turn of the decade when 2030 rolls around? Dead. That's my only hope. When the Central discovered the video clip uploaded to Microsoft's YouTube channel in which is corporate VP for OS security, David Weston, provides his vision for Windows in 2030. You can watch it below. I think I'm fine. I can trust you. In the short interview, Weston delivers answers to some set questions, which are mostly on the topic of security, not surprisingly, given that his expertise. AI, jobs, and the business world. He does address the title of the video at one point. Though, and give us his thoughts on how Windows may look by the end of the decade. Weston observes, I think we will do less with our eyes and more talking to our computers. Ooh, I don't like it. I truly believe that a future version of Windows and other Microsoft operating systems will interact in a multi-modal way. I think it's time to become a Linux bro. It is my understanding that Mint is kind of similar to Windows in its look and feel. So that might be the way to go. The computer will be able to see what we see, hear what we hear, and we can talk to it and ask it to do much more sophisticated things. I think it will be a much more natural form of communication. Stop trying to humanize the machines. I don't like the machine demons. Weston adds, the world of mousing around and typing will feel as alien as it does to Gen Z to use MS-DOS. Another good example, Gen Z is a bunch of retards anyway. They only know how to use phone, eat cheap, and lie. I think it was hot cheap? I don't fucking know anymore. Much of the rest of the video discusses AI and jobs, as mentioned, and how we can expect AI to take over grunt work to free us humans up to do more interesting and creative tasks. That's the long-held theory anyway. You people keep saying this. It's not going to happen. You're gonna be jobless. Congratulations. It's not gonna be good for humans. You better have a blue-collar job, I suppose. They're gonna fuck you over, not as much at least. And indeed, have future security aspects will be AI bots that you'll interact with just like a real person, talking to them in video chats and meetings, or mailing to give them tasks. So, right now, because they use the fucking machines anyway, or Indians, pick your poison. God, I'd rather not. Now this is far-fetched, but Pokemon. To me, this doesn't feel like a vision of Windows in 5 years' time. Well, it's near 4 if we want to nitpick, and I do. But a good deal further out than that. That wasn't the hint that this is a broader vision of the future version of Windows, and I get the guess. The future is multi-model, moving away from the simple mouse and keyboard as the main input for the PC. And of course, everything's built around AI. Natural. This guy's a fucking shill. So sick of the tech trader. Will the future of Windows be like this though? I'm certainly not betting against it being focused heavily on AI. So it's gonna be ass. I have a bunch of AI stuff soon, by the way. That very much looks to be the case. In general, AI feels like a most irresistible force in terms of where computers are heading. Yes, but AI is trash. And Microsoft is clearly trying to jam more AI into Windows wherever it can. But the software giant that Stable is going to forge ahead with. So it's gonna be worse. Because it's already worse. Congratulations, you played yourself. I say that as if this is not what they want. Huh? Today I've been writing about clues hidden in the background of Windows 11 that suggest that the AI agent might be coming to the taskbar in the desktop OS. No, get them out. That possible addition will live alongside the agent already introduced to the Settings app, which is a smart addition. Oh, this guy is a fucking shield, dude! It reeks! Is this guy Indian? Hold up. Darren Alec, I don't think so. Just a shielding. With powerful MPUs potentially set to be included in desktop chips soon, as well as Copilot Plus laptops, AI is likely to become much more widespread in the world of PCs pretty swiftly. They even go as far as to guess that the next version of Windows won't be Windows 11. 12, I know my numbers. But Windows AI, or Windows Copilot maybe, if that's all the brand. That's still the brand for AI. Focus on this arena is likely to be that strong. Yeah, it's time to jump ship. There are promises, lofty ideas, and marketing around AI though, and the reality of what Microsoft can achieve. Remember when Copilot was first introduced to Windows 11? No, because I don't have Windows 11. But I do remember. We were told it would be able to change a swath of settings in the operating system based on a vague prompt from the user. Like, make me more productive. That still hasn't happened. It appears to be firmly in the back burner. Because AI is just a badge of... It's just a cesspit of hatred and lies. Hatred is all mine, but the lies are theirs. Just to say that well I don't doubt that Microsoft has these big ambitions, but a very different way of working with the Windows PC will happen in 2030 seems doubtful to me. Granted, again, the envision that talking, giving voice commands, which are coming along nicely in Windows 11, will become much more important, but still supplementary part of the Windows experience and interface. And the AI, presumably, doing more sophisticated things, yes, fair enough, maybe even manipulating Windows settings in one fell swoop at the behest of the user, will be realizing a manner that works well. Yes, this will happen? You're going to break your shit, congratulations! Fuck, idiot. Hey, maybe Windows AI or Windows 2030 or whatever it ends up being called will finally get rid of the legacy control panel. As the commentary on Weston's video immediately observes. Makes me feel giddy just imagining it. This is a battle Microsoft has been fighting for far too long, after all. Legacy control panel. It's probably one of the best things Windows has to this day. What are you talking about? Well, not only this guy's a shield, it's a really weak shield on it. It's really obvious. Also, keyboard usage is being made to be like the equivalent of us being forced to revert the days of DOS. You keep saying that, I don't think it's true. All text and tinkering with the config.sys and autoexec.bat files to get a PC game to work. That feels like more than a stretch and something much further away in the Windows computing timeline. But I could be wrong. So this is exactly something I've been talking about for quite some time already. People are becoming more stupid. People are becoming more tech illiterate. And you will be able to do less things with your computer if you know how to do them. Because the computer knows best, just let the computer do the thing. How about... No, how about you shut the fuck up and let me do my thing because I know what I'm doing. Unlike you, stupid machine. Be ready. That's coming. Well, that's already here. But it's only gonna get worse. That's what I'm trying to say. Crazy. You won't be the one using Windows. Windows will be the one using you. Because you will be more stupid than the AI. And the AI is not gonna be that smart. So, if anything, that says a lot about you. What about the comments? How would verbal commands work in this workplace? While you're in a conversation on the phone or in a meeting? I get plenty of crosstalk in my car from a single passenger and it's ready today. That makes sense. I have windows if we're not using our eyes. Well, but your eyes are not real. It's fanciful in the stream. Can you imagine what it would be like at work with everyone talking to their PCs? Totally practical. Yes. Even the comments are a little bit suspicious about this and say, crazy. Real crazy. It's not the only crazy thing. Because we're talking about censorship and it keeps happening. Huh? Wow, imagine my shock. Unlike that seems, Steam release probably postponed one day before planned launch. Publisher cite various circumstances. I can probably have an idea of what kind of circumstances these are. Entogram's romance visual novel, Wakayu Numu, is already out on consoles, but the Steam launch has been delayed. And apparently this is not even that spicy. I mean, she has big tits, okay, sure, but that's it. Wow, is that the end? Having big tits? Have mercy, just say that. Okay, but for real. Japanese visual novel developer Entogram announced on August 6th that the Steam release of Wakayu Numu will be postponed. The game was originally scheduled to launch on the platform on August 7th, following its PS4 and Switch releases earlier this year. PS4, by the way. I thought we had PS5. What happened? Well, it's not real. Okayu Nimi is a romance visual novel starring Honolulu vtuber Nekomata Okayu. The game follows a heartwarming, slice-of-life story in which you start living together with a stray cat girl, Okayu, until she sneaks into your house one day. Checks out. In Zero Z, ages 15 plus and up, by the way, you said the same thing twice. With Steam storage page warnings for some nudity or sexual content, general mature content. I don't think it's that raunchy, right? I guess I might be wrong, I don't know. The Japanese version of Okayu Nimu released on PlayStation, Switch and PC physical in February 2025. The English and Japanese Steam versions are scheduled for August 7th. However, Entogram has postponed the release day, citing various circumstances as the reason. Notably, the Switch Edition's physical release, which is also set for August 7th, hasn't been delayed. Ah, how curious! Although the run didn't provide details, possible reasons could include unresolved bugs, it's a Japanese company, I can believe that, or pending approval from Steam. Recently, payment processors and other third parties have indirectly influenced the content restrictions on Steam. Indirectly? Yeah, I guess kinda. And some Japanese fans to speculate that this may be a factor. I bet this is a factor, maybe not the main one, but it is a factor. Not long ago, the visual novel Nekopara After had its Steam release delayed by over 40 days due to a tracked out screening process by Valve. Since Entogram is calling this a postponement rather than a cancellation, it appears they still intend to release Okayu Nimu once the issues are resolved. Entogram says it will announce a new launch date for the game's Steam version as soon as it's decided. The PS4, Nintendo Switch, and packaged PC editions will be available, Japanese only. They keep coming for the tubas, man. It keeps happening. That's disgusting. But not as last, maybe. Not as last, kinda. Trump signs executive order to counter payment process of censorship. I don't know how this is going to work. I only have a really small idea about American law. I hope this is good. But if you're not American, you're still gonna be fucked. And I have seen people saying, well, maybe the Europeans will copy this. No. Trump is signing this because it's Trump. If it was a Democrat, you would be fucked. Europeans are opposed to Trump. So no, it's not gonna happen. Sadly, it's not gonna happen. Yes, President Donald Trump signed an executive order on August 7th, which could have an impact on the ongoing censorship implemented by payment processors. Good luck with that. The executive order titled Guaranteeing Fair Banking for All Americans addressing the ability of payment processors to punish individuals for constitutionally or statutorily protected beliefs. My bad, I'm struggling here. Affiliations or political views. Additionally, the bill calls for an end to clauses regarding reputation risk on the part of the payment processors. Payment processors like Visa, MasterCard, Stripe, and PayPal regularly claim that additional speech represents a reputation risk and tends to financially disenfranchise content creators, which we all know it's a fucking lie. Just process the fucking payment, you stupid bitch. If anything, censoring stuff is more of a reputation risk for you people. But they don't care about that, it's just an excuse, nothing more than a pretext. Within 180 days of the date of this order, it's an executive order, so this needs to be made a law if you want this to last. Each appropriate federal banking regulator shall, to the greatest extent permitted by law, remove the use of reputation risk or equivalent concepts that could result in politicized or unlawful debanking, as well as any other considerations that could be used to engage in such debanking, from their guidance documents, manuals, and other materials, other than existing regulations or other materials requiring notice and comment rulemaking, is to regulate or examine financial institutions over which they have jurisdiction. The removal of such concepts shall be made clear by each appropriate federal banking regulator through formal guidance to their examiners. The federal banking regulators shall also consider rescinding or amending existing regulations, consistent with applicable law, to eliminate or amend any regulations that could result in politicized or unlawful debanking, and to ensure that any regulated firms or individual's reputation is considered for regulatory, supervisory, banking, or enforcement purposes, fully to the extent necessary to reach a reasonable and a political risk-based assessment. Did you get any of that? Bunch of legalese. I think it kind of works. I'm not quite sure. In the executive order, Trump gives examples of surveillance targeting potentially conservative citizens as the reason for his intervention. Not only that, there were issues with crypto too. So it seems that the blood-to-dual content censorship might just be incidental. It probably is. It probably is at best if it works. For those who don't know, payment processors have become de facto censors of online platforms. Sites such as Pixie, Patreon, Fansly, which is an adult site, that makes sense, and more have been compelled to change their moderation practices under the threat that payment processors may scatter their ability to do business. Most recently, Steam and itch.io were forced to make changes, directly naming MasterCard, PayPal, and Stripe as the source of censorship. So, I mean, executive order, better than nothing. You need something more. You need something kinda big. You need an actual law, because the executive order can be undone by the next president. And it will probably happen, I suppose. Especially if it's a Democrat. If it's a Republican, well, I don't know. I don't think so, but you never know. And speaking of AI, let's jump to AI a little bit. Oh, but AI is so good, it's so useful. I left Gemini alone to fix the bug and came back to this. The AI is schizoing out. Cool! I'm actually terrified. You won't believe this is authentic. What do you use AI again? Well, I have no idea. Is this also AI? Oh yeah, this is also AI. But the AI is so useful, it's better than Google. Ew, garbage in, garbage out. Frit and Wikipedia are the top sources for current AI models in 2025. Levit, Comipedia, YouTube, Google, Yelp, Facebook, Amazon, TripAdvisor, Mapbox, OpenStreetMap. This is trash. This is trash. No wonder I'm seeing a lot of fake news thanks to AI. Reddit? That's trash. Holy fuck, dude. So obviously, the AI boom is now bigger than the 90s.com bubble. It's built on the backs of bots, maybe more than real users. It's built on the backs of fucking nothing. AI is just a bunch of nonsense. July 22nd, by the way. I've been tracking this for a couple of weeks at this point. It's kinda long, I think it's important. It's not red as usual. Well, had an uncanny moment when we realized we've been talking to someone online when we realized that the robot's responding. Speak for yourself. Long before the release of ChatGPT mainstream the act of taking the bots on the internet. Oh, excuse me. No human accounts were all over the web. MIT computer scientists invented ELSA in 1966. The similar conversations with a real human being. Microsoft users met Clippy almost exactly 3 decades later. Despite some users' unlikely vitriol for the anthropomorphic paperclip, much more malicious bots became obvious to users in the years to come on social media, especially on Twitter in the chaotic election season of 2016. Holy shit, dude! I'm looking at your ideology. Full blown here. Are you sure it was not the Russians? Come on. Holy fuck, these guys are annoying. But the bots are still with us, officially defined as software applications that run automated, repetitive tasks. Bots are still swimming in the digital ether. They're a key aspect of the artificial intelligence revolution. They're threatening to undo the internet as it's been known since the mid-90s. No. No, it's been done already. I don't think I have it on tap, but I've seen it. More than 50% of internet traffic is just bots, so yes. Dead internet theory, 100% real. The catch is that the searching bot activity is not just disrupting web traffic. It may also be inflating the internet economy by distorting the very metrics that drive tech companies' valuations. Automated bots now can make up more than half of global internet traffic. Oh, they mention it here! Well, that was lucky. Bots surpassed human-generated activity for the first time in 2024, according to Imperva, a subsidiary of Toyo Clan of cybersecurity giant Thales. Imperva, which issues a bad bot report, found that almost 50% of internet traffic comes from non-human sources, 20% of that being so-called bad bots. What you wanna do when they come for you? Well, just unplug them. Prone to a host of malicious activities. For example, bots generate fake page views, clicks, impressions, and user sessions, all of which inflate top-line web analytics data, also ads. This distortion directly impacts metrics including conversion rates, average session duration, and the like. Cybersecurity firms, which admittedly may be talking their book to some extent, claim that ad fraud bots also click on pay-per-click ads or simulate user activity, causing companies to pay for traffic and conversions that never represent real humans. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. Ads. What a cesspit. They put the damage at hundreds of billions of dollars per year around the global internet. That's kind of crazy. Also consider the startups that showcase vanity metrics such as raw user sign-ups or app downloads, many of which can be, and often are, pumped by bot traffic, just like Twitch. The statistics are sometimes self-reported and rarely audited independently. Investors rely on all of these metrics, and more, to assess company value, so fake or inflated data can misrepresent the underlying business strength. Just like Twitch. That's crazy. I may get banned today from literally everywhere. So, enjoy! We're going to jail with this one. You think investors that are pumping money into bot-boosted business models, and they consider the wisdom of Thorsten Schlag. I don't know who that is. The well-read chief economist for Apollo Global Management was known for shaking the financial community with his brief charticles in his daily spark. He recently posted an eye-popping chart based off his calculations that the difference between the IT bubble in the 90s and the AI bubble today, adopted companies in the S&P 500 today are more overvalued than they were in the 90s. Well, that's one way of fixing the economy. Blow it up! In other words, if the AI trade is a bubble, it's a bigger bubble than the one popped in the days of the dot-com crash. Leading to a nasty recession. I feel like I've been in recession all of my life. This is not Japan, by the way. So I guess it doesn't matter what you do. The economy is always gonna be fucked. Slug didn't address the bot question, but it lends further seriousness to the debate. What if the current AI boom is built on the backs of bots? What do you mean, what if? What do you mean, what if? I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, have you seen Twitch? I know it's a real simple example, but kinda works. If that works for Twitch, it can work for pretty much any site. That's about driving inflation might be feeding into broader tech and AI investment bubble, as companies report rapid user growth and engagement. Investors chase the next big thing, and result is a market environment reminiscent of the dot-com era, where hyperinflated metrics risk overshadowing real business fundamentals. There has been AI since day one. Also, do you guys remember NFTs? Whoa! They're gonna be the next thing! They can do so much! Okay, they can do so much. What can they do? Oh, nothing? Get your fucking monkeys. I don't want to return to that monkey, okay? This is the story of the unicorns. I don't know what they mean by this. For me, unicorn seems... means a different thing, I suppose. Silicon Valley term for private firms with 1 billion plus evaluations. When just a few dozen in 2013, venture capitalist Eileen Lee coined the term to stress the rarity. Unicorns have become anything but. The number over 1,200 by 2025, according to Founders Forum, an organization committed to connecting entrepreneurs. Surges in unicorn formation accompanied the easy money era of 2018 and 2021, when the Federal Reserve lowered interest rates to nearly unprecedented levels. Venture capital money chased risk investments, seeking yield. Isn't this always a recipe for disaster? I'm not big into economy, but I know a little bit about history. The money in VC has since largely gravitated to AI, a deeply ironic turn of events. Is it ironic? I don't think it is. I think it makes sense. History suggests that markets eventually correct when reality catches up to inflated expectations. Several factors point to similar reckoning for AI and the bot problem. I don't know about that, because people keep pushing AI as the next big thing. And it can work kinda as the next big thing because people are stupid. Even though, no, it actually is not the next big thing. It's kind of bad, it's kind of useless. We'll see, I guess. Hold up. There we go. Recognition of fake metrics is one. As awareness grows about the scale of bot-driven inflation, investors and analysts become more skeptical of headline user numbers and engagement stats. New regulations are beginning to address the economic incentives behind bot-driven manipulation. I don't think you can do anything about that. I mean, it's really useful for them. So, they don't want to be honest. Why would they do that, after all? Relating bots on the internet has become a critical focus for governments in response to their growing presence in commerce, social media, and consumer interactions. Bots can be used for both legitimate and malicious purposes, assisting with customer service, also spreading misinformation. Oh, not the misinformation, generating fake reviews, scalping tickets, or manipulating public opinion. Not wrong, but I can bet you, if we disagree, what kind of misinformation and fake reviews. The US government mainly does this thing through the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC. What the government's trying to do about it? Ooh, spicy. I don't think I'm gonna like it, probably. Well, if we know which ones are actually humans, the rest have to be bots. I'd rather be a bot than give my information to these sites. The FTC is the leading federal agency addressing deception and unfair practices involving bots, especially those affecting consumers and commerce. In 2024, the FTC issued a final rule prohibiting fake and AI-generated consumer reviews and testimonials, to replace both traditional and AI-powered bots that generate misleading content or endorsements online. Problem is, even though the trackers for AI-generated stuff also use AI, so they also miss a lot. Ah, this was 70% generated by AI. No, I made it myself. What are you talking about? No, well, we'll see what happens. So it's gonna be AI versus AI. God, it's like that gif from The Simpsons, right? With the two monkeys fighting with knives. But you're not the guy who's betting. You're another monkey, waiting to get killed. PSL can also face civil penalties for buying, selling, or disseminating fake reviews or endorsements, whether uttered by bots or humans. buying, selling, or submitting fake reviews by humans. So what constitutes a fake review then? I thought it was something generated by AI or bots. I guess not? I have no clue. This seems really suspicious to me. Problems to ensure transparency in online marketplaces and curb deceptive practices. Which in paper looks good, but it's always gonna be bad. From Congress, there's the Bots Act, Better Online Ticket Sales Act, enacted in 2016 and strengthened by Executive Order in 2025. It specifically targets the use of automated bots to circumvent controls on ticket purchases for concerts and events, often used by scalpers. I fucking hate scalpers. I don't know if this works as intended though. The FTC enforces this law, which makes it illegal to use bots to bypass security or purchase limits when acquiring event tickets. How the fuck do you bypass purchasing limits? You're generating overbooking, which is a big problem, but if you're a scalper, I guess you don't care? Really strange. It's gonna be thought as of the Taylor Swift law, as fans found, to the displeasure during her record-setting Airs tour when new tickets disappear in seconds. Coupled up with bots. You can also have an online version, and anybody can join. Sure, you can still... You need to buy the ticket, but anybody can join. If all can do it, Taylor Swift can. The FTC also regularly issues business guidance calling for transparency and accuracy about AI chatbots and avatar services, warning against misleading consumers through these technologies. The agency advises companies to clearly disclose when users are interacting with bots, ensure bots do not misrepresent capabilities, avoid using bots to manipulate or deceive consumers. But manipulating consumers is really useful, so I don't know if that will ever happen. Some states, such as California, have passed laws regarding bots to identify themselves when attempting to influence a voter or consumer. I'm totally guy, I just happen to be Indian. I would probably be the next step. Other states have introduced similar bills, modeled after California's Bolstering Online Transparency Act. Bota? That a guy in Tales of Symphonia? The federal preemption and cross-border challenges remain. What for? As bot-driven metrics are exposed, companies with inflated user numbers may see their valuations fall, especially if they can demonstrate real, sustainable growth. The market may consolidate around companies with proven human-driven engagement and revenue, while those reliant on artificial metrics struggle or fail. They will fail because they didn't actually get the engagement they need, so they didn't actually get enough money. It will take longer, of course, but still. Spet increased demand for third-party verification of user and engagement data, as well as more robust bot detection and filtering in analytics. Then again, bots have been a feature of computing for over half a century, which has grown more and more plentiful over time. Bot-driven inflation of internet statistics may just become an inevitable part of digital life. I mean, you call them bots, because it sounds bad, and sure, I do agree that the overuse of bots actually detrimental. But automating stuff through programming is the basis of this technology. So, you could just create a program that does stuff, and that's technically a bot, but that's also with the confines of what's intended for computers on the internet. So I don't know if you can outlaw something like that. I don't know, it's really strange. I don't know my nose. It's very bad. Give me a second, please. And it's really humid, so it's going to affect me a little bit. But this is not the worst part here of AI and bots. If only that was the case. No. I co-parent with ChatGPT. I love turning off my brain and letting AI help raise my child. I hate this. I hate this with a burning passion. If that's happening here, or with censorship, it's just because parents love turning off their brains and letting something else raise their child. What the fuck do you have a kid then? If I were to have a kid, I would want the kid to be a better version of myself, instead of being some sort of human creature that shits around the house. Right? That makes sense. Also, AI, don't you guys remember Elsagate? It's gonna be the same times 50. It's gonna be the Super Saiyan Elsagate. Ah, that's a multiplier for you. She's taking a break from burnout. Look, if you're not ready to have kids, don't have kids. But if you're going to have kids, you need to be a parent. A parent. 2 words. Being with an in-person partner, Lillian Schmidt. Are we noticing? Was thinking of shouldering the mental load of motherhood. Oh no. Oh no, it's so difficult. Nobody has done this before. So she's trained ChatGPT to become his second mommy. Taking us to drive shopping lists, creating meal plans, plan birthdays and vacations, and revolutionize bedtime. You don't want to be a mom. I don't know what happened here, but you don't want to be a mom. This is gonna have me of all people, the freedom-loving fuck, being like, you know what? Yes, we actually need some sort of certificate if you want to let people have kids, because this should not be allowed. It will happen when I become king, okay? Demon King, of course. It's gonna be great, don't worry about it. It's gonna be the best demonic kingdom you've ever seen. Believe me, I know a lot about this. Built my own to be your co-parent, Schmidt, 33, a corporate brand strategist based in Zurich, Switzerland, called SWNS, which is not this side. That's strange. I used to make me a better mom, bragged the blonde, who heavily leans on artificial intelligence for help raising and running her 3-year-old daughter. I'd never go back. I bet you wouldn't. And why would she? It's a present trouble that really clicks. Stop trying to be funny. The New York Post, I don't like them. The millennial is in the majority of our tax memos plagued by burnout. You know why? Because you have a job. And yes, I understand that in today's economy, you might need both parents to have jobs, to have enough money. But this is by design. This is so you don't actually raise your own kids. I don't know how many times I've said this. Many times, I know. Once again, you can thank the Rockefellers back in the 20s. Not these 20s, 1920s, give or take. The stress, anxiety and fatigue of rearing adults that afflicts in eye-popping 57% of US moms and dads, per recent study from Ohio State University. Outright fogs like Schmidt are now turning to AI for parenting pointers, be it healthcare how-tos or bedtime storytelling. I was a kid at some point, as you might expect. I wasn't born as a grown man with, I don't know, big muscles and a lot of hair. I was born as a baby, and of course I had a mom. I still have a mother, she's nice. Back in my day, we didn't have AI, and we didn't even have internet. We only got internet when I was a teenager. Young teenager, but still. That was never a problem for bedtime storytelling or healthcare how-tos. So, this couples two horrible things. Not having a stay-at-home parent. If you want to have a dad instead of a mom, I don't care. Okay, I don't care. It's for you to decide. But also, losing traditional knowledge. Oftentimes, I'm reminded that other people, let's say my elders, even though I don't really have any anymore, but grandpas in their 80s or perhaps 90s, there are still some people in their 90s around, which is really crazy. They know a lot of stuff. Why do they know a lot of stuff? Well, because they're fucking old. So that helps. And they needed the knowledge when they were younger, so they have accrued that knowledge. But people don't take that knowledge for themselves. They don't take that help from their parents, grandparents, or great grandparents even. So this is an absolute disaster. You're losing time at home, and you're losing a bunch of skills and knowledge that you should have. It also helps that back in the day, families usually were maybe not together in the single home, but they were close by. So, for example, if you need something, maybe you could call a grandpa or an aunt or something like that that live like 2 doors down the road. That's not happening anymore. Whoa! How is it possible that kids are so stupid nowadays? I don't know. It might be this? You think? I think it's really possible. Experts have large language models such as ChatGPT with making parenting easier, owing to its ability to ideate and just be creative. Smith agrees. Well, why wouldn't she? I don't let it make decisions, but always ask it for advice. You don't know what you're doing. Asking it for advice is giving you ideas, so you might end up doing what the AI wants. Quote unquote wants, right? But what it tells you, which might not be ideal because you don't know anything, because you're not being a proper mom. She said of her computerized co-parent, insisting, however, that the bot does not usurp the role of her human honey. Yet. It will happen, especially with people that are more stupid than this. Our life is so busy, explained Smith. The mental load is a lot. My partner, gay, is very involved with the kids and does his fair share. She added of her 35-year-old fella? How you doing, fellers? This Texas in the 1800s? Come on. But our rates work differently. He's a door and takes on the planning. I do the thinking. Schmidt, who's also a stepmom to a 14-year-old boy, that mental load falls on me. It's the heaviest during early evening hours. After signing off from her 9 to 5, she finds herself at my lowest energy, but still forced to perform. God fucking damn it, Rockefellers! I blame you for all of this fucking disaster about parenting. Oh no, you don't wanna be a stay-at-home mom, that's so bad, you don't want to do it. You want to be a strong independent woman who doesn't need no man. You want to go out and realize yourself as another worker. And everything has been fucked since then. You know why? I can tell you why. I don't know a lot about economics, but this is just pure logic. Traditionally, mainly only men worked. There were always women working, okay? But it was not as common. So what happens when you add to the existing job market that's dealing pretty well with mainly men and some women, and they can have good economy? What happens when you add all of the women as potential workers? Well, supply and demand. You still have the same amount of jobs, but then you have about twice as many people wanting to work those jobs. So you know what happens? Income collapses. So now you need both people working to have the same amount of money, in theory. Which is not even the case. It's not even the case. I do remember back in my day, only my father worked. Sure, we had my grandpa's pension. It was really helpful. But we had a home, 2 cars, and we didn't really go into vacation. But money could be spent into unnecessary things. So, and this is not the USA. It was way better in the USA by comparison. And nowadays, you can have both working for a tiny apartment, and if you're lucky, a small pet. No bigger than a cat or small dog. Do you want to have a kid? What, are you crazy? Yeah, it's for all part of the plan. Fuck you, Rockefeller. How'd you bring in hell? It must said death, I don't know why. 5 p.m. has become the business time because I'm racing back from work and I pick up an overwhelmed, overstimulated toddler, whined Smith. At the same time, we've got to get dinner ready. It becomes overwhelming. Can you hire a maid? Unironically better than AI. Because at least it's human, I think. Before kids, I can sit on the sofa and relax a little bit. If you don't want to have kids, why did you become a mom? I understand that the stepkid was not your decision, but this one is yours. You cannot eat your cake and have it too, okay? Only recently I knew that usually people say that saying backwards, so I wanted to say it correctly. I like to be incorrect. Neighborhood woman began relying on ChatGPT for words of wisdom in February, but she wasn't totally satisfied with its spot answers and unimaginative tips. It's gonna give you the tip, alright. Thought it would be nice if it started thinking like me, said Smith. I got into building bots, and got it to teach me to make a custom one. So you used the AI to create the AI. Why didn't you invest that money, not money, time into something more useful? I don't know. I don't understand this modern society. Once again, I just want to become monkey. Within the prompt, the AI assistant spits out tailor-made support. I get it to act as an experienced owner coach or a meal planner. Ask it to coach me through the process. Smith said, if I need to plan my meals, I'll ask it to assume the role of a nutritionist for healthy, kid-friendly meals. Never do this. I remember people trying to use AI-generated recipes. They were going to kill you. So maybe not. Also, nutritionist? Congratulations, you have a communist AI. As the family shows its rub, the holiday helps the mom getting her super hyper little one to go to sleep. She has been a struggle since the girl was born. I asked ChatGPT to assume the role of a total therapist. What the fuck? Said Smith. Someone who understands their development. Oh god. Did you think that was dystopian? Yeah, it's probably the worst. I asked it, help me understand why bedtime is hard for her. Because she's a kid and she's not tired enough. You need to play with the kid. She's tired. How is this difficult to understand? It's like having a dog. Well, it may be a little bit more difficult. She's 3 now, right? But the main things are still the same. It works the same if you're an adult. Oh, I cannot sleep. Because you have a lot of energy. There might be other things, but it's mainly that. For the last nearly 4 years, we've been told she needs to relax, calm down, nothing overstimulating, continued the mom. But she never just lie down. GPT told us she needs stimulating. Let her jump around on her bed. Not on her bed, what are you doing? That's bad manners, Schmidt says. We never once had the power struggle again. There are no tears or fights anymore. In 5 to 10 minutes, she goes to bed. Because she has a lot of energy. How the fuck do I know when I'm not even a parent? Well, it's very apparent that I have. But I had to be a proper parent. Take a sip anytime you say parent. Holy shit. Non-alcoholic. The High World Helper also polish Smith with sweet suggestions for getting her daughter to play independently. Back with easy activities that the child can enjoy while mom downs a cup of coffee in peace. Give her toys, give her coloring books, give her building blocks. Something that has been done for at least decades. Maybe centuries, I have no idea. How is this new? It's not. You might be... I don't know, Schmidt woman, you might be too stupid to be a parent. Many benefits notwithstanding, Schmidt assures that ChatGPT doesn't replace therapy. Yet. Instead, it simply gives her space to vent when mothering a busy baby becomes nearly unbearable. Has me deal with my own emotions, she gushed, confessing that her own kid pushes her buttons. Because she doesn't have friends. This would be so much easier if you had an aunt, a mother, grandmother perhaps. But you don't. I wonder why. I fucking hate big cities too. I just wanna live in a cave as a monkey man. Is that so much to ask? I will be Sasquatch. I don't think I'm big enough. I might not be here enough. Yet. ChatGPT is someone who will think for me, she re-emphasized. Didn't you think this is bad? I could never beat this guy. If I ever do this, kill me. I'm too far gone. I will play with AI, but I will never let it think for me. Something that helps me make decisions and makes my life easier. Oh, AI, I don't want to think. Fucking damn it, this is so ass. Our life is still not perfect, it's still busy, Schmidt considered. We still have tantrums, but it's so much better and so much easier. Here's the list of Schmidt's best ChatGPT parenting tips. I don't think I will. I don't think I will. God fucking damn it. If you don't want to have a kid, just say so, okay? It's fine. Not everybody needs to have kids. And if you're gonna have kids like this, maybe you don't need to. Guys, I promise, not eugenics. Yet. It's not eugenics yet. But it could be. It could be at some point, you don't know that. Fuck, my throat is killing me, I don't know why. I cannot finish yet. I have more stuff I need to go through. What do we have here? Hold up. There we go. What do we have? I guess I can skim a little bit through a couple of things here. Because I don't want to go too over the time, but I have to. Because I was really late. It was not by my hand. Server claims women view anime, comic books, and Magic the Gathering among the least attractive male hobbies. But it's complete bullshit! Are we sure? I'm gonna skim through this a little bit. And they had this thing here. And they're presenting the top 15 least attractive hobbies to women. As according to the percentage of women who said that the gaming hobby was attractive during this psychology survey. Comic books, cosplay, debating, debate bros and shambles, drinking, MTG, card bros, I'm sorry. Anime, fuck. Makeup, crypto, cigars, clubbing, the marijuana, Funko. Of course this is bullshit. 12.3% Funkos. If this is true, I'm gonna be alone all my life. I need one of these 12.3% women in my life, okay? Funkos are hideous, I hate them. Arguing online, porn, gambling, manosphere, only 3.1%. This end, the survey found out there was a strong congruence in the bottom choices for men and women. With such unpopular hobbies including, from most favorably looked upon the list, comic books, Magic the Gathering, and anime, with porn, gambling, and engagement, with manosphere content coming at the very bottom. The same information as above, but this time grouped according to the percentage of women who said that a given hobby was unattractive. Funko, 87.7%. We're so back. We're so back! Crypto, anime 72. Oh! Video game 61. Oh! Wargaming 60. Oh! D&D 52. Oh! Why? Well, D&D nowadays is kinda gay, so that makes sense. Stamps? Stamps? But why? Looking for the breakdown of the positive outlook women had towards other activities like archery, blacksmithing, and playing an instrument, Alexander ultimately concluded that consistency across these rules, women mostly don't like hobbies that are vices and antisocial behaviors. Women don't like hobbies that showcase physical and practical skills, humor, and intelligence. They've never seen D&D. Funny enough, they've never seen D&D. Crazy. One thing to keep in mind is that some hobbies will put you together with women in ways that others will not. For example, video games, in addition to not being highly esteemed by women, also mean that you won't live in you won't be in live social groups with women. Dancing, on the other hand, is a hobby that will put you in contact with many women. You may want to consider the potential sex ratios when selecting hobbies, if a secondary goal is to meet opposite sex friends or potential romantic partners. I understand that, but if I don't like dancing, why would I force myself to do something I don't like? Trying to get women I probably won't like anyway. It seems really strange. Yet when Alexander's findings make for good pull quotes and headlines, this bombastic serves do not tell the full story of his research. Aside from having such a fact will run counter to the endless real-world examples of both women who have both fallen in love with a man of his genuine passion for his nerd interests, who partake in such hobbies themselves, Alexander fails to offer any specific clarification toward his methodology until the very last paragraph of his write-up. It's gonna be bunk. It's gonna be bunk. Therein that he bears the rather important detail that, rather than any sort of majority population or actual random sampling, his information was instead gleaned from a convenient sample of 814 participants, 48% female, which is skewed disproportionately toward women of high social status, high level of education, 45% had a master's degree in the previous survey, and were predominantly white, more than 90%. Lomao. Lomao. So, I'm going to assume most of them are strong independent women that doesn't need no man. That they're gonna use AI to burn their kids. That's crazy. That's just kind of funny, but at the same time, I kind of expected something like that. What can you say? Can't expect something like that. It's you know what? Speaking of D&D, do you like D&D? Do you like TTRPGs? Are you a weeb who likes anime just like me? Are you tired of current D&D, WotC, and their really expensive books? Boy, do I have an offer for you. The TTRPG that crushed D&D in Japan is finally getting translated to English. Sword World RPG is so popular in its native Japan that it's completely eclipsed Dungeons and Dragons, and it's finally coming to the West. I'm coming. I'm coming. Dungeons and Dragons is the first and often last name in TTRPGs for many Western gamers, but that's not the case all over the world. Sword World RPG has been the premier fantasy RPG on the Japanese market since 1989, with a cultural impact on the Japanese fantasy genre equivalent to D&D's impact in the West, and for the first time ever, it's set to receive an official English language edition. I read about this system before. At some point, I wanted to make TTRPG related content, and then we had the huge debacle with WotC and whatnot, so I decided to not do it. Also, I stopped playing TTRPGs altogether. And I took another look at the font translation book for this. I will give more information at the end. I think it's interesting. Mugen Gaming, a Kansas-based firm that localized Japanese games for the US and international markets, announced its partnership with Sword World RPG's original publisher group, SNE, with its blog post on Tuesday. The firm plans to crowdfund an English language version of the current Sword World 2.5 core rulebook, a Kickstarter in 2026. It's like 400 pages, so it has a lot of information, and hopes to support Sword World long term with expansions, adventures, and community resources. They do have 1 billion books. They're not as expensive as D&D, not in Japan at least. Sword World is an incredibly culturally significant game in Japan, which grew out of D&D, but entirely eclipsed its parent. When you encounter D&D classes and D&D race Japanese media, they are far more likely to be inspired by Sword World and the related Lord of War novel series that they are by D&D itself. I've realized, and it's not too bad. It's different. It's really different. When translated versions of the D&D Red Box made it to Japan in '85, it was picked up by a very small community of enthusiasts. In '86, gamer Ryo Mizuno began publishing replay write-ups of his group's D&D sessions in Comtech magazine under the title Record of Lawless War. If you know about anime, you know about Record of Lawless War. I didn't know it was literally Japan's Dragonlance. That's kind of funny. It wasn't until I read this. Yes, this is pre-read, which is kind of crazy to me. It was the way the Japanese gaming market's first major exposure to D&D, and to D&D style high fantasy. Lord of the Rings was late in arriving in Japan and had an obtuse translation. It just didn't have the cultural impact there. What a shame. The Lord of War replays were so popular that Mizuno was able to re-edit them into a series of novels that became Japan's first high fantasy blockbuster series. It also has 2 animes, and nowadays it also has a Metroidvania game. Never played it. Could be interesting at some point. Mizuno and his friends set up group SNE to pursue RPG publishing projects, attempted to collaborate with D&D's original publisher TSR on an official Lord of War source book for D&D. It never happened, but imagine the possibilities. That could be really crazy. They found the firm to be slow-moving and unwilling to compromise in many such cases. Rather than waiting around, Group SNE created its second game, Sword World, which became the official Lord of War RPG. The connection to the fantasy blockbuster, and the fact that it was sold as a series of dirt cheap paperbacks compared to expensive reported hardback D&D books, meant that Sword World utterly eclipsed its inspiration. But translations of Sword World exist already. I know. But it will be very interesting to see what an official licensed localization can do with this venerable source material. Japanese RPGs are made different. The box set above shows several different starter adventures for Sword World 2.5. Will make it to the US? I hope so. Can we make this a little bit bigger? Nah, it's kinda small. They give you a bunch of stuff. Not like D&D, I suppose. But now you might be thinking, okay, I played TTRPGs in the West, so I'm assuming you probably understand D&D. I'm gonna use 5e as a base because that's the only one I've played. So, ability scores, you will be seeing similar numbers, not quite the same. Ability modifiers, you will be seeing similar numbers, but not quite the same. Ability scores are a little bit different. Instead of having 3 physical and 3 mental, you have 2 skill, 2 body, and 2 spirit. I'm not quite sure what's the difference between dexterity and agility, for example, but I don't know, that's how it works. I've never played, I've only read a book. Your final ability scores are an addition of the roll you get for the specific role and its parent group, I suppose. That's given by your background, which is really strange. So, you will be rolling dice a lot. Speaking of dice, I didn't mention this. It's not a D20 system, it's a D6 system. You use 2d6 for a lot of things, so it's really important. And of course you still have classes, but they're not as important as the classes in D&D. Well, that is wrong. They're not as strict. You're not playing just a fighter. You will be probably getting an assortment of different classes. You are meant to, actually. For example, if you want to play a frontliner, you're probably gonna be either a fighter or a grappler, which is similar to a monk, but it seems like a little bit better. It's gonna give you stuff to fight, but you're gonna keep getting EXP, investing in that. Each level is gonna cost a lot more. So maybe you want to invest in other classes. You have 3 main groups: the warrior classes, the wizard classes, and the other classes, which are pretty much just utility. They're just utility, but that doesn't mean they're bad. For example, in the book I've read, it gives you a bunch of example characters that you can use. So the first one is the classic fighter guy. It's a guy with an armor and a sword. But it has like a couple of levels in the fighter class, for fighting, obviously. But it also has a level in the other class Scout, and in the other class Ranger. The amount of classes you have acts as some sort of proficiency bonus from D&D. It's similar, it's not quite the same, but you use it to calculate a bunch of durable stats that are actually really important. For example, to calculate extra damage, sure, use your stats, but you also use the amount of levels you have in warrior classes, which is pretty important. You also have a major and minor classes. For example, a minor class for the warrior group would be Fencer, which are more like crit 1v1 kind of fellas. But I don't think they work on their own. You probably need a main build of fighter for that. Once again, I don't really have a lot of experience. And if you want to do anything that's additional stuff that might be like useful for exploration interaction, you probably want the other classes. Ranger also helps not only with survival stuff, but also with healing, which is always really nice. And I guess the best example would be the paladin they give you, right? You don't have an actual paladin class, so obviously what do? Well, you get a bunch of levels in fighter, because you're gonna be a frontliner using armor and whatnot. You're gonna get a bunch of levels in not sage, priest, cleric, the divine caster, so you can actually use divine magic. I think that makes sense. There are also differences between D&D that I find to be quite interesting, because you have like ranks for your equipment, and you need to get the appropriate feats to equip those pieces of gear. So it's not like, oh, I have a really strong sword. Well, yeah, it's rank S. You can only equip like to rank C. Similar to Fire Emblem, I suppose, in a way. So that's really interesting. I don't think the system has a crafting system, which it's something I quite enjoy. But from what I'm seeing, if you want an alternative, and if you're into anime, take a look. It seems pretty decent, and it has like 1 billion books too. What is the possible price? I have no idea. In Japan, the core book is like 2,640 yen, which is about 18 USD. I don't think this is going to cost less than 25 or 30 in the West, sadly. But I do hope this is successful in a way, because let's be real, D&D needs a rival. And if it's gonna be anime, I'm all for it. Also, look at that. Holy shit, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Kind of a shame that I can't stop playing TTRPGs with friends and whatnot. I kinda busy, they're all over the place. So that's gonna happen. But I do believe it would be interesting. Let's bring back that idea. Trying to review TTRPG systems at some point. Each system is gonna be assuming if that happens. It's not gonna be on the pipeline anytime soon, but it could be interesting. What else do we have here? I just have this. Not all manga has to be from Japan. Major manga publisher Kadokawa looks for new manga artists overseas amidst a labor shortage. You don't know what you're talking about. Manga has to be from Japan. If you don't think it's not really manga, I'm sorry. Recently, Kadokawa announced the results of the World Manga Contest, featuring over 1,000 entries from over 100 different countries. The goal of the contest was to promote Japanese manga and discover up-and-coming manga artists from all over the globe. In a recent interview with Orkin News, members of Kadokawa's overseas manga editorial team shared their goals for worldwide expansion and emphasized the necessity of broadening the talent pool of manga authors in Japan and overseas. Do I have to remind you guys that Kadokawa got pretty much bought by Sony recently? It was like February this year. So it's not surprising, it's still disappointing. Due to the popularization of digital comics in recent years, the number of supply points for manga has drastically increased compared to the past. However, there aren't many manga artists to meet the demands of the market. Their editorial teams are urgently taking on to the task of scouting talented newcomers, said Risa Tomisaki, member of Kadokawa's Global Digital Book Office and overseas manga editorial department. Noboru Sekawa, Kadokawa's IP executive producer, heading multiple departments related to overseas publishing, stated that there is a particular shortage in the sphere of comic adaptations of light novels and books in the isekai genre. Because there's appealing isekai, what are you talking about? Despite the abundance of source material, there are overwhelmingly not enough manga artists that could make the adaptations, and many companies are competing to secure talented artists. Please give me something else aside from isekai slappa. However, Sekawa remarks, just joining the competition to secure talent won't solve the fundamental issue of workforce shortage, as it doesn't contribute to expanding the talent pool. Devising ways to discover and nurture popular authors is a crucial mission for our manga editors. He noted that this is the reason why Kadokawa decided to explore the wide sea of overseas manga artists and look for future talent there. It's not gonna work. People don't like manga because it looks like manga, it's because it's culturally Japanese. Because it's different from the shit we have in the West. That's why Western comic books are in the gutter, they're so trash now. Sekawa notes that Japan faces declining birth rates, oh god, an aging population, and will become increasingly difficult to create works aimed at younger audiences from a commercial perspective. However, he states that there is a potential for such works to succeed in years with greater populations of young people, such as countries in Southeast Asia. Globalists! This way, he says, the starting point for the works of becoming manga artists doesn't necessarily have to be in Japan. On a related note, Kadokawa's anime branch has officially announced plans to raise the production value of their anime and further expand to the global market. Sony! Sony, I hate you! Well, Kadokawa's officials stated that the industry as a whole Must raise the production budget and earn money via the global market, listing countries like Brazil, Mexico, and India as new potential candidates for the expansion of the anime industry. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about that one. I guess maybe, but let's be real. They're gonna be different, and they're probably not gonna be good. That happens a lot, I'm afraid. Excuse me, holy shit. I'm struggling. And I guess I should finish for today with these next two articles, because I've been tracking this from last week. Why women are aware of the emotional labor of man-keeping? When social circles shrink, female partners say they have to meet more social and emotional needs. And God forbid you care about your man, huh? Justin Leoy is a licensed clinical social worker in Brooklyn who specializes in therapy for men. When he sees a new client, one of the first things he asks is, "Who can you talk to about what's going on in your life?" Much of the time, Mr. Leoy said his straight male clients tell him that they rarely open up to anyone but their girlfriends or wives. This is nothing new, okay? This is how men work. The problem is that modern society is really feminized. That's the main problem. The partners have become their unofficial therapists, he said. Doing all the emotional labor, it goes both ways though, right? The particular role now has the name Man-Keeping a Fucking Feminists. I'm going by Angelica Puccio Ferrara, a postdoctoral fellow at Stanford University, has taken off online. It describes the work women do to meet the social and emotional needs of the men in their lives, to supporting their partners through daily challenges and in the turmoil, to encouraging them to meet up with their friends. How the fuck is this anything new, dude? What are you talking about? Do these women even like men? That's crazy. What I have been seeing in my research is that women have been asked or expected to take on more work to be central, if not the central piece, of a men's social support system. Ms. Farrar said, taking care to note that the dynamic isn't experienced by all couples. The cast has taken on a bit of a life of its own, with some articles going so far as to claim that man-keeping has ruined dating and driven women to celibacy. There's no way you believe that, come on. We talked to Ms. Ferrara and other experts about what man-keeping is and isn't, and how to tell if it has seeped into your relationship. Feminists. Man-keeping isn't just emotional intimacy. Ms. Ferrara, who researches male friendship at the Stanford's Claiming Institute for Gender Research, completely worthless, and Dylan Vergara, a research assistant, published a paper on man-keeping in 2024. After investigating why some men struggle to form those bonds, a growing and well-documented issue. Because men cannot be men in modern society because it's deemed toxic or misogynist or too violent. In a 2021 survey, 15% of men said they didn't have any close friends, up from 3% in 1990. The same report showed that in 1990, nearly half of young men said they would reach out to friends when facing a personal issue. 2 decades later, just over 20% said the same. Israel found that women tended to have all of these nodes of support they were going to for problems, whereas men were more likely to be going to just them, she said. But I thought men had it so great in society. How is this possible? This is man-keeping as an important station for the concept of king-keeping. Oh, what the hell are you talking about, woman? Did they really pay you to do this kind of work? Jesus Christ. The work of keeping families together, these researchers have found, tends to fall disproportionately on women. Because women, traditionally, because they have the biological drive, have been always the caretakers in the family. Not always, but most of the time. Holy! They're rediscovering the concept of family. Abe Tally Carlson, 37, was the latest to stumble upon the concept of man-keeping on social media. Oh my god. Miss Tally Carlson, who lives in Los Angeles, is happy in her relationship with her boyfriend of nearly 7 months. and described him as emotionally mature, funny and caring. They make a good team, but Miss Tyler Carlson finds herself offering him a fair amount of social and emotional scaffolding, she said. They're both busy attorneys. I'm starting to see a pattern here. But she tends to take charge of their social plans. Miss Tyler Carlson has hung out with her boyfriend's close friends a handful of times. He hangs out with her several times a week. Her role as the de facto social director of the relationship includes more serious concerns too. That's usually normal for women in relationships. Traditionally speaking. We're going to meet each other's parents. We're going to go on our first vacation together, she said. If all of that... I guess... honest? Is that a word? I've never seen it before. It's a mythic kind of plan, but then there's a feel of the responsibility if something goes wrong. Look at that. Man keeping put a word to her feelings of imbalance. I feel responsible for bringing the light to the relationship, she said. This is really funny. This is really funny, because if... Let's make an assumption here. If this is falling disproportionately on women now, which I don't think is the case, that means that this was usually the job of the man. So you're telling me the woman cannot do the job of the man? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Her partner, Glenn, 37, who agreed to speak to the New York Times but asked to use her first name only, said his gut reaction when his several first described mankeeping to him was that it seemed consistent with what he'd seen play out in many heterosexual relationships. He wondered, okay, but is it that bad? We're in a moment where more women are speaking up about how trained they are by this dynamic, said Justin Pia, who runs the therapy practice in Seattle that focuses on relationships and men's issues. Instead of Carlson, who is a content creator, even made the post on TikTok about, oh my god, don't dare your dirty laundry on social media. God damn it, man. Disgusting. Rather than view man-keeping as an internet-approved bit of therapy speak used to dampen straight men, experts said that they see it as a term that can help sound the alarm about the need for men to invest emotionally in friendships. Yeah, but male friendships nowadays are seen as either toxic or gay. You cannot win with these people. The reality is, no one person can meet all of another's emotional needs, said Tracy Dalglish, a psychologist and couple therapist based in Ottawa. Men need this outlets as well. Men need social connection. Men need to be vulnerable with other men. Mr. Pierre said, finding additional sources for emotional support does not require going from 0 to 60, and that deepening friendships can happen in the smaller steps that are more manageable. He might encourage a client to share something new about himself with a friend he already has, for instance, or invite a friend he normally sees in only one context to do something new. The friendship building concept is sometimes referred to as reporting. God, this is so gay, dude. This is so gay. As male clients are reluctant to put themselves out there in that way, it tells them that developing relationships is not about replacing the romantic relationship, but strengthening it by widening the emotional foundation underneath your life by investing in friendships. That's what the challenges men face in making some connections are societal, said Richard Reeves, president of the American Institute for Boys and Men, a think tank, and author of Boys and Men. That makes sense. Many of the institutions and spaces where men used to organically make friends have eroded, he said, like houses of worship, civic groups, and even the simple workplace, because everything is so feminized nowadays. Men used to be able to put themselves in these institutional settings, and it kind of happened around them. He added, that's just not happening so much anymore. Men do have to do more, be more assertive. I find that even in my own life. For Miss Stanley Carlson and Glenn, talking about man-keeping explicitly has helped ease her burden. King admitted that partly he thought his girlfriend just liked taking the reins socially, but when she explained how it felt as a default emotional manager in the relationship, he began to see how things could feel lopsided, he said. I put more effort into trying everything out, he said. So men cannot be men, but then, when men are not men, that's a problem. Women most affected. You gotta have everything, man. You gotta have everything. God damn it, this is so annoying. But wait, there is more. Men need to lower their standards on dating apps. New study shows. Men? Are you sure it's men? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. There's lumping a theory that on dating apps, 80% of women are pursuing the top 20% of men. New research reveals it's actually false for aiming too high when swiping for low. There's no way you believe this. There's no way you believe this. I've seen women on social media. Oh, look at me. Of course, I'm perfect. I'm a diva. I'm a thing. Bitch, you're Jabba the Hutt. What are you talking about? You're more like the Destroyer. Stop it. No, you're not. And some of them might be okay. Okay, normal-looking women, which is normal, is okay. Most people are gonna be normal-looking. That's how it works. No, I'm a thing. I'm oh so perfect. No. No. Maybe that's what they mean here. Oh, they're aiming too high. Well, if all of them call themselves tens, yes. But if the three calls herself a ten, it's still three, okay? International research analyzed the behaviors of almost 3,000 heterosexual users of Czech dating app, with the findings published earlier this week in the Plus One journal. Intended to express interest in women who are more desirable than themselves, while women typically pursue men of more similar desirability. Team and cover. I might be just in Czechia, okay? That's not happening. That's not happening in the USA. Absolutely not. To classify how desirable each user was, researchers counted the number of swipes they received from other people on the app. There were more male users, meaning that female users generally rank more highly in this hierarchy. Yes, that's how it works. So it's been the case. Despite being a spot for choice, the research revealed that women sometimes choose slightly less desirable partners on average. However, the study showed that successful matches tend to happen between people with similar levels of desirability. Makes sense. And not necessarily physical, to be fair, but yes. That's the way feeling frustrated and rejected when using dating apps. The research suggests that men should be realistic about their own desirability, not attempt to date out of their league. Oh! The amount of hubris these people have. I wanna take a look at the comments, for sure. A research on a Czech online dating app shows that while men often aim high when choosing who to contact, successful matches tend to happen between people with similar levels of desirability. This pattern is largely the result of reaction, rather than an initial preference for similarity. The successful matching outcomes tend to align more closely with women's preferences than with men's. This likely reflects women's stronger position in the online dating market. So you just said nothing. Congratulations, you played yourself. As being a number of women are often expected to make the first move. You'll never hear anyone telling women to lower their standards. They're always encouraged to aim for the highest fruit on the tree of life, no matter how unrealistic. Meanwhile, men are constantly told to settle, to lower their expectations, and accept whatever comes their way. Society treats moral standards like a threat, and if you dare to have them, you're labeled toxic or entitled. If you listen to these double standards and people pushing them, you'll almost guarantee a life of quiet misery that only serves to benefit women, not men. That can be seen clearly with the new, what's the name of the company? I don't remember. The jean ad, you've seen that. Not jean like me, but jeans like the pants, denim pants, right? Sydney has great jeans. I also am a great jean, okay? I think I'm great. And people were furious on social media. And I was like, ha 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 ha! You fell for it! It's time for me to play my blue eyes blonde woman in attack position. Hilarious. Because women, no matter what they look like, can go out any night of the week and easily pick any guy for night one to stand. Most guys don't have this luxury. I wouldn't call that a luxury, but yes. There's an obvious methodological mistake. They have evaluated partners' desirability by number of matches. Women in these apps always have a huge number of matches. This is the source of their conclusion. Completely invalid and laughable. How can Can you try and pass this in science? A woman that has 100 matches in a week is probably in the level of a man that has 1 match a year. Not wrong. I've seen way too many videos, even women managing dating profiles for men. It is impossible. It is impossible. You're a great guy. You have a boat. You're not getting any matches. I know. I know. It happens. That's not me. I'm not the guy with the boat. Get to the chase. Most young women are looking for a man with a healthy paycheck or bank account, and men are looking for unrealistic beauty. Sometimes not even unrealistic. Both goals are shallow and reflective of society. Unrealistic with more plastic surgery and makeup. Most women are even below average, and they just know how to use that paint. All natural. It's actually better, in my opinion. Check dating app. Think about the different market here in America. The gender science will be reversed if we studied here. Hold up. Through real. Or what was the profit? I need to read this one, right? Is it too long? Ah, no, it's not. This report says, it's a quote, "Fellows were aiming too high when swiping for love." I would say this is a propaganda article that snatching for men to accept and conform to share their daily life with women who damage their reputation with hopes that men could overlook the mistakes that was made. Another hidden thing, stating that men are wrong and women are always right and perfect, no matter the situation they've started. Whoa. They're eating them alive, and within reason. This doesn't make any sense at all. It's observable reality after all. Oh man, god damn it, it's so late today. I can only blame myself. I was late. Even though it was not my fault, it's still my responsibility. Ah, the pain. Anyway, I got really spicy today, didn't I? I'm not gonna get banned. If I end up in jail, avenge me. Please do. Please avenge me. Anyway, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. I will upload schedule tomorrow. But you can expect more Final Fantasy VI. You can expect more Palworld. And we can start Bloodstained. That's gonna be the main menu for next week. I also need to edit some stuff. So we'll see what happens with that. No promises. I will release a video when it's ready. That's pretty much how it works. So thank you all for coming. I hope you had some fun. Most of the news today were horrible as usual. But I can laugh at the people writing them. Because there's no way I'm gonna believe them. I will see you all on Monday for Final Fantasy VI. I actually practiced my DL voice yesterday a little bit. Was it yesterday? I think it was late Thursday. So maybe if we encounter Kefka again, we'll be able to have a better performance. We'll see about that. So yeah. See you on Monday. Until then, you know the rules. Fight this propaganda machine and take care.